everyone. It's actually my first time in Germany, so very exciting. I took a tour of Cologne yesterday, and yes, it is very nice. I will agree. Apparently, there are conflicting opinions about Cologne. But anyway, so I'm very excited to be here today to present the 2024 spring release to you all. Before I get started, I'm actually curious. Who's already seen some of this? Can I get a show of hands? Other than the Akeneo employees. OK, a few of you. Good. I was slightly concerned that you were all ahead of us for today, so thank you. And before I also get stuck in, I want to get a round of applause for the product team, please. Thank you. Thank you. They have worked very hard. They have worked extremely hard to ensure that this spring release is packed with some amazing features. Amazing features, as Kristen said, we want to unlock responsible business growth. And we want to do that so that your teams and your business can showcase your products better, faster, and anywhere. Oh, sorry, I'm having delays with my clicker. We just saw from Kristen that the PX revolution has begun. My interpretation of that, the end of consumerization, and therefore push marketing. It is time to understand how to build emotional connections with your buyers, but also your employees. They are one of the main key conduits to your business's success. And so at Akeneo, we have invested in this release in making sure that your employees and your teams are equipped, as I mentioned, to showcase your products better, faster, and anywhere. I want you to remember these three things. They are the main theme of today's presentation. Everything you're about to see today is aimed at helping your teams better collaborate, be more efficient, and being able to activate product experiences right where it matters most for your consumers. So let's get stuck in, and let's showcase products better. Before we go into a few demos, first I would like to introduce you to Zigolf. Zigolf is a brand manufacturer of golf equipment and accessories. They currently sell across multiple channels, including B2B distributors, retail channels, and their own D2C site. And behind any good business, what is there? Strong team, strong employees. We've got category manager Julia, PIM owner Lizzie, James the intern, and Julia's counterpart based out of Paris, Charlotte. And Zigolf has decided to expand and launch a golf marketplace for an entirely new set of products, a kids collection. To do that, they will need to invite some suppliers, which they will need to onboard quickly if they want to make sure they can capitalize on this new revenue stream. As many of you will know, that oftentimes product information from suppliers is messy and incomplete. It can cause quite a bit of headaches for your team through back and forth communication, so many attributes buried into spreadsheets, and overall delays in getting your products to market faster. That is why Zigolf has decided to use Akeneo's latest solution, Supplier Data Manager. Thanks to the acquisition of Unify back in September, I'm not going to do a show of hands who's aware of this, but I'm going to hope that every single one of you would raise your hand. Akeneo has developed the only AI-driven solution that helps automate and simplify supplier onboarding and accelerate time to market. I'd like to welcome Dino, our solution engineering expert and MC for the day, to give a quick demo of Supplier Data Manager.
Perfect.
But just before I do that, I want to introduce somebody else. I want you all to meet Jimmy. Jimmy is the e-commerce marketing manager at MotorCaddy. MotorCaddy is one of Zigolf's preferred supplier and will be one of the main focuses of Dino's demo. Dino, please do the honors. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. So we're going to start with Julia. Julia is responsible for uploading or for onboarding new suppliers to the marketplace, as we heard. Julia is here in the Akeneo PIM, and she's using our Supplier Data Manager for setting up a portal, a supplier portal for Jimmy at MotorCaddy. So this is done on here, and it's already created. Of course, Jimmy is receiving an email, and he can click on this email to jump into the supplier portal. Now let's change the view to Jimmy. It looks like that. So this is the SDM, or Supplier Data Manager supplier portal. Jimmy is able to create a new upload for a catalog. He can upload like an Excel file, a CSV file. In this case, we have prepared like an Excel file, and is able to upload also media files. So it's the data, the structure of the catalog, plus media files that he can add to his catalog upload. Because Jimmy and Julia already know each other and worked in the past together, it's not just uploading the catalog. Julia has given Jimmy also some capabilities of mapping the data and of going through specific checks, as we will see now. So in this case, because Jimmy already did map the data in the past updates, basically, we can see that the system already mapped automatically his catalog data with the data that Julia needs in her Akeneo PIM. So he does not have to do anything here. Just in case he needs to adjust something, this is the step where he can do that. In this case, he can just continue. Then, of course, there are some checks on the data quality. And 45 records already had been kind of like checked and are in great order. But there is one problem. It seems that there is one product where the UPC code is not long enough, which should be 12 digits. So Jimmy has the capability of checking what's wrong. In this case, he finds out, okay, there is indeed missing one digit, and can work on that directly, or he could actually re-import the catalog if he wants. But in this case, he's just adjusting that and finalizing the import. So that's Jimmy's job, basically. Very easy, very quick, convenient. He just uploads the data. Once this is happening, of course, Julia is receiving an email that Jimmy has uploaded a new catalog, and she goes to her jobs and sees, okay, there's the new MotoCaddy Summer Edition, and is able to go into the onboarding of this catalog. Again, here, it's a step-by-step process, and AI and machine learning is already doing a lot of work. In this case, for example, 45 of the imported products already had been kind of categorized in the right categories. But there's one row to check. If the system needs some kind of confirmation, if maybe something is not clear, then of course Julia can work on that and adjust it very easily or validate it if it's correct. And then next time AI is learning and is remembering, and Julia doesn't need to do that again, basically. So this is the first step. The next step in our story is the extraction part, and that's the most powerful part. You could imagine how many catalog imports consist of full text fields, right? I mean, this is valuable information, but you cannot really leverage it on websites as attributes, as filters, etc. So in the past, before Supplier Data Manager, Julia actually had to paste and copy every little detail out of this kind of like description field into the different attributes. That was a very tedious process. Now, with the help of machine learning and AI, and with our Supplier Data Manager, we are helping Julia to identify the right elements in the text and put it into the right attributes, as you can see on the right side. Of course, if our AI, machine learning, has some kind of like confidence problems or some exception, then Julia can handle this exception. In this case, it's asking, is the head cover included or not? It's not really 100% clear. Julia knows this product, and she just validates and says, no, in this case, the head cover is included. All right, now she extracted a lot of data out of the full text field and put it into the right attributes. And we have the last step, which is, of course, the kind of validation step. There is some content policy. In this case, again, AI was already checking everything else, and we are working on the exceptions. So it's an exception-based handling. Jimmy was sending the ERP name in a very long fashion, and in the content strategy, this ERP name should be shorter. So Julia can actually edit this import and take out, in this case, the unimportant stuff, and just keep the title as she wants it. She can validate it, and then finalize the step. And once this is done, the catalog has been fully imported into the Akeneo PIM. As you could see, there had been several steps. Some steps were jumped over, of course, because if the system is confident doing this, then you don't have to go into the step. The system is taking care about that. So it's really about exception handling for Julia to import as many products as possible. Coming back to her dashboard, in our Akeneo PIM, looking at the product grid, I created like a filter for the newly imported products here, which are coming from MotoCaddy. And you see it's just a click to get this catalog onboarded.
Thank you, Dino. So as you just saw from Dino, thanks to Supplier Data Manager, Zigolf's team was able to onboard MotoCaddy without the usual pain, right? We talked about communication chaos and being buried into spreadsheets. That completely disappeared from what we just saw. Supplier Data Manager has actually helped other companies than Zigolf. As you can see on the screen here, we've got quite a few customers that have already had the benefit of Supplier Data Manager. Some of the important stats to remember about this: it has helped increase automated tasks by 70% for some of these clients. And it has also reduced team effort by 75 hours a month per employee. That's quite a lot of positive impacts that Supplier Data Manager has had for the teams. Okay, so we learned about MotoCaddy, we learned about Zigolf, we've learned about Supplier Data Manager. So now it's time for the Zigolf team to get to work and showcase their products faster. So you're going to be seeing a lot right now for the next 30 minutes or so between us. And so I just want you to kind of bear with us. Here's a quick preview about what you're going to see in this section. Take a screenshot if you want for later, but just wanted to give you a heads up. Hold on to your seats. Okay, so as we know, they're looking at building a marketplace, and this marketplace will be focused on a kids collection, which will feature clothing, books, equipment. The Zigolf team has actually decided that they will first start with kids' golfing book collection. Julia, just like other many PIM users today, knows that building a new product family can be time-consuming, as they have to be started from scratch and require multiple iterations. But she remembers seeing on the Akeneo monthly product newsletter, which I'm hoping you're all reading, that a new feature called Family Templates could help her leverage predefined templates so that she can quickly and easily build these new product families directly within the PIM to help launch this golfing collection. Dino, why don't you show us how this works?
Yes, I will. So there's Lizzie. In this case, not Julia this time, because she's the PIM owner. And Lizzie is able to manage, of course, the PIM system. And she wants to create a new product family with books. But of course, there are several attributes that she needs to find and to put together. But with the help of product templates, product family templates, she's able to do this in a very quick fashion. So we are here in the configuration. We go into the families, and we see we already have some kind of product families there. And if you go to Create Family, you can either create manually your own family, or you can use this new feature and select a product family template. You see quite some collection here in different categories, of course. For example, before we heard about the digital product passport, batteries, whenever we are going to sell at Zigolf battery products or batteries, this could be a very interesting starting point, because we have all the attributes necessary which are part of the digital product passport, basically. But now we want to introduce a new product family for books. So here it is. We see that there are already attributes available. I can use this template. I can say books for kids. That's the name of my product family. I can create it. And voila, a new product family has been created. And you see all attributes coming from the template already built into this product family. And of course, if Julia and her team, Lizzie and her team with Julia wants to start working, she's able to very quickly open up the books. And within the books, you will see that all these different attributes are available for being enriched and creating the best product experience, basically.
Thank you, Dino. Pretty cool, right? And guess what? It took Dino, I don't know, I don't have a timer here, but just a few minutes, really, to show this to you. That's how much time is being saved, right? If I had to do this from scratch, it would have taken a lot longer to get done. And this is helping improve the overall product quality of the product data quality of the product experience your teams are going to be delivering. OK, so knowing that there are still a few more product lines to be added to the marketplace, Julia, we just mentioned Julia, decides to talk to her manager, Lizzie, to talk about workload and priorities, just like any one of us would do today. Lizzie knows that this could be a challenge for her team, so she decided to leverage the newly released enrichment workflows to check out the team dashboard to see current and future tasks. This is where Lizzie will also be able to manage the team workload across departments, regions, and at an organizational level. But as she starts looking through the workflow, she notices that Julia has quite a bit of workload and decides to reallocate some of the tasks to James. Dino, are you able to show us how this gets done?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
So back to Lizzie. Lizzie is in the Akeneo PIM, and what you will see here is a new button in the menu. It's called Workflows. So in the workflow, because Lizzie is the manager, she has the dashboard, and she can actually validate that, focusing on Julia. Julia is pretty busy. She's assigned to a lot of these tasks, and some of them are late, so it makes sense, right? If James has time to reassign this task to James. And this is actually pretty easy. So she goes into the settings. She can choose, the Seagolf workflow here, and she sees the different step settings. And she sees that, OK, Julia is assigned here. I want to assign James. Save this. And now, basically, James is assigned. He will receive also like a notification newsletter if he did not work on his tasks, etc. But let's take a look how James is experiencing this. So this is James, voila, on his Akeneo PIM from his side. And he also has the workflows. And if he clicks on the workflows, you see, there is a new task with a list of products that I need to work on, which is enriching the products for marketing. And he has the list of products that he can work on. That's basically it. So that's how Lizzie could actually move the task from Julia to James using our new enrichment workflows.
Impressive, right? And I just want to make sure you're all awake, so can you give him a round of applause for that, please? Thank you. So I know this is something that you've all been waiting for, so hopefully you're all very excited to kind of leverage this with your teams. So now we're going to come back to Lizzie, and we're going to come back to Lizzie and James, who... Oh, could we please get the demo screen back on? Just to make sure. Yeah, thank you very much. OK, so we're going to come back to Lizzie and James. So they're going to work together on the electronic caddy product line. James, as the intern, is going to be focusing on product specs. Lizzie is going to be focusing on building compelling product descriptions. And luckily, thanks to the recently launched simultaneous work, they can both do this in tandem, ensuring that none of their work gets overwritten and that everything gets saved properly. This saves them time and quite a bit of effort. I believe, did you show that, Dino?
Yeah, you see it here. On top.
That was so quick.
Exactly. I mean, James is on the other side. He sees Lizzie, and if you look at Lizzie, she sees James on the other side. So you always see who's working on the same product at the same time.
And again, saving time for your teams. As I said, recurring theme, efficiency, collaboration, productivity. That's really what we're going for with this release. OK, so you've seen quite a few things. OK, pretty amazing. Yes. Thank you. That really showcased how Akeneo is a collaboration-first PIM and has for aim to drive team efficiency, as I just said, and also faster time to market. But I know you've heard some rumors, so we're going to go into something that I'm sure you've all been waiting for, the Gen AI offering that we now have. And before I go into it, I'll repeat it after, but I'll repeat it now. It's free, and it's ready to use today. OK, so just want to be super clear about that one. I'll repeat it again in case you didn't hear it. OK, so we're going to come back to Lizzie. As we know, she's crafting some compelling product descriptions. Oh, sorry, could we have the demo screen back? So, yes, as I said, Lizzie is building these compelling product descriptions. While she's on the edit form, she notices a little Ask AI button. So she decides to click it and give it a go. And guess what comes out? A pretty good description gets generated. And all that's left for her to do is to quickly check it and it's ready. Sounds easy, right? But we can applaud in a second. But what we all know is that AI is not magic. There is a little bit of work that has to happen behind the scenes to get this done. Thanks to the data and the product information that was onboarded by MotorCaddy, Lizzie, can select some key attributes and some prompts. She can also create custom prompts to help further the tone of voice and really ensure that the product description matches their brand. That is how easy it was to do, again. So now you can applaud. That's how simple it was. And like I said, it's free. I just want to be super clear about that one. You can go and try it as soon as you get off the phone. I know maybe some of your teams want to give it a go. And then there's just one more thing that this can do. Lizzie knows, we talked about Charlotte earlier. We haven't seen Charlotte yet. But Lizzie, as the team manager, thanks to Enrichment workflow, knows that Charlotte is also a busy lady. So while she's at it, she decides to just translate it in French. Why not? Save us some time, help with the team productivity. And again, all that's left for Charlotte to do is just refine and approve. There you go. We're going back into the theme of collaboration, efficiency, productivity, and faster time to market.
Voila.
Yeah.
Was it right in French? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Dino. OK, we've heard quite a bit about Digital Product Passport. Clearly, everybody's been leading the way until this exact moment. But Lizzie, as an overachiever, wants to make sure she's ahead of the curve, is already thinking about the product Digital Passport 2 years ahead. And I'm not going to go into detail about the value of DPP. I think Kristen did a pretty good job at that. But I will say that the main focus in 2026 so far is going to be the most pollutant industries: textile, electronics, and batteries. And what are we focusing on right now? Electronic caddies. They have batteries. So Lizzie, as a super user, knows that she can access the App Store and find over 200 integrations directly from the PIM. So she decides to give it a go. As she's scanning through the App Store, she sees that there's a beta program for one of the DPP apps. She decides to give it a try and generates a QR code for that specific electronic caddy product range. And guess what? You can actually try it out today. So if you scan the QR code, I want to see some phones up there. If you scan the QR code, you can actually see it for yourself. You can scroll, you can see what the product description looks like. And really, what this is aiming is to give more transparency and traceability to the end user. We talked about DPP. Something that we didn't talk about is how unprepared people were for GDPR. We all know there were fines, there were issues. We don't know what's going to happen if you're not compliant with DPP when it comes out, which is why you do need to be thinking about this today and not thinking we still have 2 years to go. OK, again, we saw a lot of different things, and we've set up the team. The Zickoff team has made sure that they are on brand, in market, and compliant with regulations. They've leveraged automation, they've leveraged AI to create powerful content, as well as enrichment capabilities, and so they're no longer stuck in the day-to-day management. They can actually, because this is everybody's dream, being proactive about sales performance and being able to measure PX investments, thanks to Akeneo's latest business insights capabilities. Dino, could you show us how that works, please, and the value?
Sure.
Thank you.
Coming back to Lizzie. In our Akeneo PIM, you also have recognized probably that there is a new button called Analytics. So this is exactly driving us to the analytics part. In the past, we already had some of the reports about productivity, average time to enrich, total enriched products, etc. As you can see, we actually added some business reports here as well. So now you can import data from external systems, from external touchpoints, and leverage it in the analytics module. I show you some cases here. So the first case is about the conversion rate. And it's about our team enriching the products with more multimedia, with much better product experience. And guess what? This happened around September 17th. Because looking at the report, you can see that after we enriched the products with much better product information, the conversion rate went up. And this is something that we can leverage in the analytics part. This was use case number 1. Use case number 2, it's in US stores. Like Seagolf has its stores, and in the stores, there's the new cool golf simulator installed. And we want to see how the golf simulator is affecting the number of units sold in these kind of shops. And again, I mean, this started around beginning of the year, and we can see that this golf simulator in the store already has a very big impact on apparels, on balls, and on golf clubs. So on the products that are being showcased in the simulator, basically. So it's a success, and we can leverage this analytics for continuing the success in other stores. Then, my last case, it's kind of like an A/B testing. We wanted to see how is AI kind of generated text working without having, a very descriptive text, basically. So this product has already been enriched with AI, and you can see that the number of page views went up. People are looking at this product because they get more product information. Instead, looking at this product, where we did not really do so much, the trend was going down, but then, of course, we decided to use this new feature to bring the products up again. So we can really act on this analytics as well. This is how you can leverage, the analytics for making the right decisions with your product team. Back to you.
Thank you, Dino. Again, some really cool capability here, and really ensuring that your teams have the tool to refine. Oh, sorry, someone clicked my screen.
I'm off.
Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, they can really refine their PX strategy. Little mess up there. Thank you, Dino. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Thank you, Dino.
Yeah.
Apologies, a little screen delays over here. But anyway, okay, so this is just a recap of what you just saw. Like I said, a lot of different things. I will read them out to make sure you're actually looking at the screen. Family templates, enrichment workflow, simultaneous work, AI, enhanced enrichment, a new DPP app coming soon, and business analytics. And I again want to say, all this is free. You can use it. It's there, ready to use. The DPP app's coming. Probably not free, but everything else is ready to use and free for you to use today. Thank you. Okay, we talked about 3 main ways of showcasing your products: better, faster, and anywhere. We've onboarded new suppliers, and we've seen how easy it was for the team to enrich products, and now it's time to get ready for launch. So let's see how they can activate and showcase their products anywhere. Product assets are an important part of the product experience. When you're dealing with your own channels, not a problem. As soon as you're dealing with unowned channels, it can be highly manual, time-consuming, and prone to errors. That is why we have developed Share Assets. It's an easy way for your teams and yourselves to generate URLs that make it easy to share assets with distributors, partners, internal teams, and really whoever else you need to work with to making sure that that works for you. It is going to ensure that you can enhance your business partnerships and have a consistent and complete product experience anywhere Seagolf is selling its products. Again, something really valuable. I think Kristen's talking about PX standard. If your images are there and they don't match across your either different websites, I don't know about you, but I do not shop in one place. I like to shop, look at different areas. I like to see the same thing wherever I shop. It's not a good experience otherwise. So again, this is really going to help make this easy for your teams and Seagolf, obviously. Something else. Hopefully you're all familiar that we do have a Salesforce Commerce app, but this head of sales has decided that she wants to sell through B2B portals. So thankfully, she can leverage Akeneo's app for Salesforce, which is bringing all of Akeneo enriched product data to Salesforce's clouds. And you're about to see exactly how that could look like for the Seagolf's Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. Lots of great product information right there. And the good news is, if you're not using Salesforce, don't worry. We have something coming with SAP very soon as well. And hopefully you're all familiar with activation. This was launched in the spring release of 2023. We actually started with 4 channels. We now have over 300 channels, including, and I did personalize this slide just for you, including Otto, Decathlon, Zalando, Rakuten, and a variety of other channels for your different markets. This is a strong area of investment for Akeneo, and we've been adding more and more features, with the latest one being able to ingest and activate pricing and inventory data on Amazon, with more channels coming very soon. Can I please get some excitement for this, because this is a really big deal for how you can expand. Thank you. And the App Store. I'm bringing this back up. We talked about it. We talked about 200 integrations earlier on. I want to bring it back to you because, again, this is another strong area of investment, leveraging our partners, leveraging the ecosystem. This is an ability for your businesses to extend the reach while also complementing your existing investments. We developed 25 new apps in 2023, and we're obviously looking at investing even further in 2024. If you scan the QR code here on the right-hand side, yes. On the right-hand side, it'll take you straight to the App Store, but you can also access it directly from the PIM. And don't worry, it is found on Google. Just put Akeneo App Store and it'll pop up right there. I do recommend you take a look. It has some really cool apps and integrations in there for you to try out. OK, I said we were going to see a lot. We saw a lot. But now that you have all this goodness in mind, and hopefully you're excited not just because I'm making you clap, but also because you feel excited and you have some energy, I want you to be thinking about specifically this. Showcase your products better, faster, and anywhere. Which one are you? Which one is your business needing to focus on? Think about that. We've got some people around. Discuss what your priorities are for your business. We're more than happy to help figure that out. As you saw, we've really expanded since we introduced the Akeneo Product Cloud 2 years ago. We are so much more than a PIM. We're an actual product cloud full of innovation. And that's why I'd like to invite Andy, our Chief Product Officer, who is going to walk you through the next phase of the Product Cloud journey that I know you're going to love. Thank you, everyone.
All right. How's everybody doing? OK, all right, good. I have the distinct pleasure of being your last stop before a well-deserved break. I'm Andy. I'm Akeneo's fairly new Chief Product Officer, and apparently a guy who only owns one nice dress shirt. So to all the fashion retailers in the house, please see me afterward. I need your help. I'm here today to talk about the Akeneo Product Cloud. And if I do my job here today, you will go into that break about 15, maybe 20 minutes from now with a much better understanding of what we think it can be in the short and long term. So let's get into it. Before I do that, I want to call back to Kristen's crucial presentation. What we're talking about here is a product experience strategy. This means working backwards from the interactions you want your customers to have at every stage of their journey. Discovery, purchase, support, returns, in-store, online, in catalog. And you want to manage those expectations at every stage of the journey, and you want to beat those expectations at every stage of the journey. And our idea for the Akeneo Product Cloud is working backwards from that idea. We want to make it increasingly easy to design and execute that end-to-end product experience strategy. So I'm here to take you on a tour of what that's going to look like over the next several years. To frame that, I want to talk quickly about MACH. It's a term that I'll bet a lot of people in this room have heard. Microservices, API first, cloud native, headless. What are these? Why are we talking about these things? This is a collection of technical concepts, right? And it is. But it's a collection of technical concepts that, when followed and executed well, leads to organizations that have super high amounts of technical agility. Now, what do I mean by technical agility? Well, I mean the ability to respond quickly to unforeseen opportunities, first and foremost, as well as the ability to overcome unforeseen challenges, right? And I think one thing we know for sure is that in all of our businesses, predicting the future is a dark art. And so preserving forward-looking ability to execute is really important to what everyone in this room is thinking about. As part of this, I want to acknowledge Kristen, who you saw before, and Benoit, our CTO, who sit on the executive board and C-suite advisory board for the Mach Alliance, respectively, along with several other Akeneo staff who are responsible for helping shape this idea and the standards around it and sort of champion this as part of their participation in Akeneo and in the community. Okay, so why am I talking about Mach? Well, before joining Akeneo and for much of my professional career, I grew up professionally inside of one of Earth's largest retailers. I'm not going to name them here today. Here's an enormous clue. Now, I'm not here to say that this company has done everything right, and especially in the lens of what Kristen just said on stage, I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned. And I know that a lot of us in this room probably have a complicated relationship with this company. But in the context of talking about Mach and why Mach, and I arrived at Akeneo about 6 to 7 months ago and started getting exposed to this conversation, I was wondering what it was all about, and then it finally clicked. And I thought about my time inside of this company over the course of 15 years. And one of the things I realized is I had a first-hand view, a front-row seat to watching a company create technical solutions that preserved tremendous amounts of forward-looking technical agility. And really, they were Mach before Mach was Mach. They were Mach in 2001. It just had a different name then, and it was called service-oriented architecture. But if you wonder how a company like that went from selling books online in the United States in the late 90s to selling everything, everywhere, seemingly all at once, my opinion, having seen a lot of it happen firsthand, is a lot of it was about that forward-looking technical agility by following and adhering to these principles. So bringing it back, what is the Akeneo Product Cloud? Well, it's many things, but one way to look at it is Akeneo making deep investment in technology and components that enable everybody in this room to execute an end-to-end product strategy, but maintain that same level of forward-looking agility and ability to respond to the market, but to do so a lot cheaper, a lot less expensively from a technical point of view than my former employer had to do. So with that idea in mind, let's get into it. We're going to take a tour of the Akeneo Product Cloud, and here is the map. Now, this is a graphic I think we've shared in a lot of contexts, so some in this room might be familiar with it, but it's the first time you'll see it here today. And we're going to just use this to kind of anchor on the different major components of the product cloud. Starting, of course, with the PIM. Now, in our minds, the PIM architecturally sits here in a foundational space, right? It is the place where you maintain the core descriptive product record for the products that you're selling in many different channels and many different customer touchpoints. Now, we've been investing deeply here for the better part of the last decade, and we're not going to stop. What we're seeing is now more than ever, customers have engaged with the Akeneo PIM, and it is helping them succeed. They are growing, rapidly developing businesses with increased complexity. And what we're hearing from our customers is that level of complexity, the number of channels they're trying to sell in, the size of their catalogs, the complexity of the relationships between the data, the size of their organizations and ability to manage all that data, that's all growing exponentially. So a lot of our forward-looking investment, we view that as a great problem to have, is we want to make sure that we're staying out ahead and that we're responding to that increased business complexity. So you're going to see us investing in deeper catalog and modeling complexity and challenges, extending our workflow capabilities, and of course, making integration and interoperation with the PIM itself easier and simpler and more extensible over time. And I will cover more of that in a moment. Next, we're going to transverse sort of up a layer. We're going to talk about the next part of the product cloud, which presents as a sort of composable app ecosystem, an app marketplace, and a place that is easy to develop a very important type of application, whether it's a connector or a user experience for one of your users, right? And in the spirit of mock principles, what we're trying to do here is make it easy for our customers to execute their product experience strategy with the best tools for their specific use case, recognizing that everybody's strategy is going to look a little bit different and going to need different software and different capability that all works together in order to execute it. So it sits up here. Let's take a look. Beyond the PIM, the product cloud is this collection of apps. These can range from connectors and data transformers, human-facing analytics engines, translation tools. These can be found in the Akeneo App Store, within the PIM experience, and in the website. Now, some of these apps are authored by us, and you've heard some of them today, and you're now familiar, I think, with our innovative solutions for getting data into the PIM in the form of our Supplier Data Manager, as well as getting data activated and continuously reactivated in all of the different channels that we've been delivering. Now, we're continuing to invest here very deeply. Of course, you can expect more channels, as Sarah talked about, including connectors to the most popular e-commerce and enterprise management platforms in the market today. But more importantly, we're infusing this layer, along with the PIM, with AI. And I'll cover more on that in a moment. The product cloud also makes it easy for our customers and our partners and other third parties to author these applications and extensions, to augment the experience within the PIM, and to connect it to an increasing cloud of systems. And today, you'll already find solutions that help with things like digital asset management, analytics, and connections to many popular SaaS platforms in the App Store today. But we think we can go a lot further than that. We see an opportunity to make it even easier for these apps to share data, to share context, to interoperate with each other. And so our vision for the future is to create an environment where that kind of authorship and discovery, configuration, and integration is super, super easy, intuitive, and low investment. Now, I'm using a lot of big words: interoperable, shared context, integration, right? Like, what do I mean? And in order to illustrate what I mean, I'm actually going to use the presence of AI in the product cloud as a way that everybody can understand how that interoperability is going to work. So today, you've seen that we've introduced the Akeneo AI now in two different places. One is in the Supplier Data Manager, and you saw that in the demo earlier. We have our own AI models that are sitting behind this, helping cleanse, normalize, categorize, map, and error check data on its way into the product cloud. Similarly, you saw that we've introduced AI helpers within the enrichment experience to help your teams generate content, normalize content in the process of building your product experience core record, right? And of course, there's also where we're going, which is to bring Akeneo's AI into that activation space. We love having all of these channels, but we know that these channels are a moving target with many varying requirements that change all the time and require a lot of configuration in order to keep up. And this is a place that we think the AI can really help. But the thing to understand here is that these AI models, if you will, the AI behind this, it's the same AI, it's the same models. So we're building an environment where this AI can learn about your destinations. Which channels does the data ultimately land in order to facilitate the experience that you want? But it's also learning how your teams enrich data before it's ever sent out to those destinations. And it's learning how data arrives, where it comes from suppliers or from external sources. And so it is able to make better decisions at every step of that journey because it has that context. It knows that the data is ultimately being published to a certain channel, so it can make different cleansing and normalization decisions up front and make things easier for you and your teams. So as an easy way to kind of understand what that shared context, shared data, interoperable nature of the product cloud, this is a version of that we are building on behalf of everybody in this room today. And we think the possibilities are very exciting. Imagine an AI that can help you make complex data modeling decisions. Imagine an AI that helps design your enrichment workflows, makes them more efficient. Imagine an AI that even helps you author code that transforms data as part of building an app. We think this is the future of AI in the context of the Akeneo Product Cloud. So I'm talking about building apps. Another important piece of this, then, is delivering an SDK, a software development toolkit. We know we need to do this in the context of a modern SaaS application. And so to any builders or engineers in the room, this might be the moment to listen up a little bit. To everybody else, I promise this will be over soon. OK, so there's a hidden product implied in this strategy, and I want to make it more explicit. We believe that the Akeneo Product Cloud SDK is a critical technical underpinning to making all of this work. And I would draw it a little bit like this. Something that sits as a layer above Akeneo PIM and other sources of data that contribute to the total 360-degree product record, and exposes both that data and reasoning and insights to developers to build components in the product cloud more and more easily, right? So it has two jobs. The first is assemble a complete product record from all of its sources, including the PIM, but also sources like an OMS, where perhaps you might get inventory information, or a pricing system where you might get price information, in order to be able to consume that product record within the product cloud and build innovation on top of it. And the second is to make development in this specific space easier. So classic components that you would expect inside of an SDK. Strong APIs, great documentation, great libraries, the things that enable that kind of innovation, both for us as we build apps on your behalf and for you as you build apps for yourself or with your partners. Investment in this is already underway. There's quite a sizable team building these components today, and here's a little bit of a look into our future. We're starting with inbound and outbound APIs that are based on the GraphQL technology that allow you to, in a configurable fashion, define what you want the interface to your product record to look like, but then be able to rely on it in order to build on top of it. We're then going to extend into higher velocity and higher data rate data exchange, right? So this is going to take the form of event buses and event queues. We know we need to make it easier to get data in and out of the PIM and of the product cloud. And as we progress through the year, we'll be doing work to build that unified product record, the data unification layer. And we'll also be building UI extensions that allow customization and overriding and extending of the user experience itself surrounding the Akeneo PIM. So this both enables us to build great applications on your behalf. It enables third parties to build great applications that interoperate within the product cloud, and enables you and your partners to build true customization and extension to meet your needs within the context of your greater tech stack and business. Now, to close, if we do all of that very well, there's a particular type of innovation that we're going to be able to do on your behalf that I'm very, very excited about. And the theme of this is really enabling a closed loop with your core product record. We want to be able to bring this data together to help you make business decisions and take action quickly, looping all the way back to your source data to help improve the product experiences that you're putting out into the wild. And so I've come to you today with, architecturally speaking, up here is kind of where we see this. We're going to build sort of a new class of application that will participate in the product cloud and be able to interoperate across lots of different parts of your product experience journey. And so I've come today with sort of, you can think of these as a set of wireframes, sort of a flip chart that I have in front of you, right? So don't imagine what I'm about to show you as a complete completely thought through experience, but rather some early thinking that we're hoping some of the people in this room might want to engage with to give us active feedback, so that as we push in this direction, we make sure that we're addressing the right use cases first. So imagine, and some of you, this will be easier than others, that you're a VP at an e-commerce apparel company. You've just released a new line of handbags on your Shopify-powered website. Your D2C marketing teams have collaborated on the marketing copy. Your operations team has ensured there's enough inventory available. Another team has been looking at pricing to make sure this is competitive in the market. And the first thing we're able to do is bring all of this data together into a sort of dashboard to help you see how that product is performing in channel alongside the contributing factors in that product experience journey, including product completeness from the PIM, but also data that changes at a much different rate, like price, reviews, inventory, right? Now, you see that your handbags are selling really fast. That's great. You want to seize on the opportunity to figure out how to increase the channels that you're distributing these in, but you're not really sure necessarily where to expand or how quickly you might be able to execute. So imagine that because we have a view into all of this, the Akeneo AI is actually able to look at the type of product you're selling and our knowledge about the channels that you might sell in and make some recommendations and prompt you. Say, hey, we think you may have an opportunity to expand into a new channel. In this case, we're imagining that it's recommending you expand into Amazon and Walmart, the third-party marketplaces for this particular product. So you can review that recommendation and decide to action it in line, at which point you're brought into an AI-powered mapping experience that helps you quickly take the product record you have in the PIM and other sources and map it to the requirements of the new channel and activate into the new channel and see the closed loop as part of the original dashboard, see how things are performing. Imagine another use case. In this case, you have a new line of wristwatches, but you find that it's performing poorly in your D2C channel. And our Akeneo AI knows that for products like this, there's some key attributes that you're missing. And so it recommends that you create these new attributes all the way back at the origin of your source data, in the PIM, and potentially even in Supplier Data Manager. Again, it makes the recommendation, it prompts you, you can approve it, at which point it can invoke some of the AI capabilities you saw before to very quickly cleanse and normalize the data in the source system and reactivate on your website, where the hope is that you start to see performance improve. And you can make a connection between the action and the reaction. Final use case, food for thought. Let's imagine these same products and you notice you have them on a third-party website, they're performing poorly on the Amazon marketplace. And your hypothesis is like, well, maybe these products are just not quite the right fit for that channel. Perhaps they're a little bit more niche and they're going to appeal to a more specific audience. And so you decide to do an experiment with a social media marketing campaign. Again, following a similar flow, you're able to quickly activate your product information into a TikTok channel and partner with an influencer that you believe is going to be able to reach your audience. And a few weeks later, you can actually see improving performance on your D2C website relative to the other channel. And you look at this and you decide you want to double down on what's working. You sort of confirmed your hypothesis, and so again, in line, you can actually deactivate on the channel that wasn't working for you. Now, these are just a few ideas. These are early stage, but it hopefully is illustrative of where we are trying to take the Akeneo Product Cloud and the innovation that we think we can do on your behalf and the innovation that we can do collaboratively with the people in this room. So as we get into the break, I'll throw this up here with a bit of a call to action to say, we'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in contributing to our user research sessions to help shape this future, there's a QR code here you can scan on your way to the break, and we'd love to engage and hear points of view on anything I've said here today. Thank you for listening, and please enjoy the break.